her world. She wants to signal that she is a mother who is protective of her child, a mother who wants to ensure the future of her child. Eduardo looks at Juan. He understands what Inesh tries to convey. We are not criminals. We are just people who didn't have the luck and the privilege. This has nothing to do with luck and privilege. Where is this discussion going? What is this? What luck? What privilege? Hasn't Inesh struggled in her life? She wasn't born wealthy. She didn't come with a silver spoon in her mouth in this world. She had to work for it. She had to struggle for everything. And she doesn't live a fancy life. No one gave her anything. No one gifted her and bestowed her this life. She worked for it. She, therefore, is vexed by these words. Privileged. What is this? A Marxist, some Marxist nonsense accusing her being protective of her child, that it would be wrong and that this would have to do something with privileges. No, Inesh cannot bear this thought. No, this has nothing to do with privileges. I know my place. I know where I come from. And I'm a hard-working mother. I don't want to get into troubles with law. I don't want to have to do anything with it. There is no trouble, sister. The man still continues his role play. There is no fear. There is no issue about it. A lot of people do this. There is no big deal of it. Nothing ever happened. So far. But Inesh is doubtful whether this man knows anything or whether this is a smarmy, sly sale pitch of this man who tries to sell a solution, tries to sell her something she doesn't want to. She immediately more and more realizes that this is probably the ploy of criminals. That this is probably the way how criminals talk, how these people talk, the fraudsters who deceive others, who live off others, who fancy themselves with being criminals, with being above the law, with being untouchable, with being a don and not an ordinary guy who goes to work every day and who has to struggle and fight for his daily survival. She more and more gets appalled by him, but this good-looking man that he probably, she assumes, gets his way with all the women because of his looks. That's why they sent him. They, even though Inesh doesn't know who they are, but she assumes that this is a bigger criminal organization. She knows very well from Mexico that these people, that they're never alone, that they're always a bunch of them, and the thought alone is distraughting her. The thought alone makes her dizzy. If she has to deal with a flood of criminals, if she has to deal with professional identity thieves, what then? What will happen then? She gets scary. She has to be cautious. More and more she understands that she probably has to soften her voice. She heard a lot of stories about the cartel, about drug lords, and about all these people who kill people in a very brutal way. And she gets scared. And more Inesh feels herself alone. She feels the coldness, a cold breeze sweeping through her body and through her mind. More and more she feels alone, left stranded. And she remembers how the Policemen treated her how she just said to her they should talk. Maybe he's in on it. Maybe he's part of this criminal organization, of this cartel. And she heard a lot of stories about it. That the Mexican drug cartel, that they control a lot in America. Are that true? In the past, she never really believed in one of these stories. She was one of those women who some sort of half-heartedly listened to them. Maybe they only are brought forth by white folks, by white racists who just want to throw dirt on Mexican immigrants. But more and more, in this moment where Eduardo, this man, stands in front of her, all these thoughts, all these prejudices, and she thought of them in the past as prejudices, all they appear in front of her. What if this guy is indeed one of them? What if this guy is indeed one of this cartel, of this drug ring, or whatever it is? We can talk about everything. He continues. For Inesh, it is clear. It is a sale pitch. And she feels her throat, her throat tightened. What's the best response for it? And this with the parking tickets, this was actually my issue. This was my fault. My mother is not responsible for it. My mother actually is a very nice person. You can ask everyone around the neighborhood. She's a helpful, a good-hearted woman. She does not wrong anyone. She has never wronged anyone. And she would never, ever do anything wrong. She goes to church every Sunday. She's very religious. And I would like you to meet her, hang out with her. Your boy could probably have a grandma he can be around with. Juan has a grandma. Inesh shrieks back at the severity of her voice. Was it now too heavy? Was this too rough? Was the response too rough? She still hasn't made up her mind how to respond to this indolence. Her voice should be smoothing. She should be convincing this man with words that she is a weak woman and that they should not do anything to her, and that she didn't mean a harm, but she is reasonably worried and concerned as a mother for her child, that she doesn't want to get involved in all these issues, and that she wants this to stop. No, of course, you have a grandmother, but I'm just saying that there is a way we can talk about this. Everything is up to negotiation. I know this may not be easy, but it is not easy for us as well. The man grabs in his pocket. Inesh feels his stomach tightened. What comes next? And he takes out a bundle of banknotes. There's always something we can talk about. This is no big issue. Just one parking ticket. I will pay for it, and I will even pay for your inconvenience. The man looks at Inesh. Eduardo's face is more and more elated, as if money could solve the issue. Inesh looks at the money. Of course she could need some money. Of course she is struggling to make ends meet as a single mother. Marco isn't supporting her family at all. Marco doesn't even care about Juan. Inesh, of course, is in one part disappointed, because she still hoped that the moment she gave Marco a son, an heir he would change his affection. But after she realized that even a son did not change his feelings towards her, that he wasn't thankful, that he wasn't appreciated, that he didn't care about her at all, she was distraught. But on the other hand, she's thankful that there is no close bond between Juan and his father, and that she, as his mother, is the closest person in his world, that this boy is her everything. She fears that if the influence of Marco, this man who does not respect women, if his influence prevails, or worse, that Juan, her little boy, in which he sees herself, sees parts of her genes, her DNA, that this little boy would become someone like Marco, that he would be disrespectful, that he would treat people wrongly, not duly, and not how they should be treated. Inesh more and more realizes that she has to be careful. She has to be careful not to do anything wrong, not to do what is expected of her. She's thoughtful. How should she react? What should she tell this man? But she can't look at the money. The money is dangerous. More and more she realizes that if she gives this man the feeling and the notion that she can be bought, that she can be convinced with money, that she would lose everything. That this is dangerous. Dangerous in many accounts. Dangerous that this could open the door for more. For dangerously more. Inesh tries to sway away her attention from the money. She still wants to be resolute. This was not all about money. This was never about money. She's not interested in money. What could money ever buy her? What could money ever help her? She doesn't even know anything that could money buy her, even though she would probably come up with some issues. More probably Juan's future. She thinks of his future, what he could do, what she could enable him to, or of her own future. She could be living somewhere else in a better place, a better home, new clothes, whatever it is. But this all looks shady to her. A man with a lot of money, and Eduardo has a lot of money. He has, of course, Inesh doesn't know, but what Eduardo holds in his hands is actually everything he owns in his life. He came with all this money. He even lent it. Ask some of his friends whether they can, just for the sake of appeal, for the sake of acting, and for the sake of conveying an impression, lend him some money. He would bring it back. It's just to see how things work out. So he brought all this money, a lot of bunch. He took it out in order to convey to Inesh that he is not a poor fellow, in order to convey to her that he is wealthy, and that this is not only about them trying to make ends meet, that this is some serious issues, that this is just a trifle. This is how he wanted to downplay, just a trifle. What of it? Everyone does it. Eduardo is sure of it. How many people did he meet? How many of them use this scheme, use this method? So what of it? And a woman like Inesh only would need convincing, and maybe he has to pay her. Well, it is not convenient, of course, if he has to pay for, and he would have wished